Alright guys, so today I'm going to be doing a Bolo 411 video. It has been a while since I have done one of these videos and I decided to try and get back into making them because not only are they informative to everyone who watches them, but I also learn stuff as well when I do research for them. So this one, as the title states, is going to be all about Lisa Frank. Now, I grew up with Lisa Frank back in the day, so to me, it's easy for me to spot out in the wild because I know what it all looks like, basically. So this video is going to be all about Lisa Frank items, some of the more expensive things that have sold recently and all of that good stuff. But the first thing that I'm going to start off with, not necessarily like history of Lisa Frank or anything like that, but most of you probably have somewhat of an idea. You have heard the name Lisa Frank, and it is very much associated with just wonderfully colorful cartoon type of imagery and that type of thing. So one of the main things that people would have maybe a hard time identifying vintage Lisa Frank to more recent Lisa Frank, because there are still currently Lisa Frank items made and the logos have changed throughout the years. So I'm gonna like quickly go through all of the logos just to kind of get you guys familiar with if you would find a Lisa Frank item within the logo, you'll be able to tell around the time frame that it was made. I feel like this could be very helpful for people. So the first picture that I'm going to be popping up is the very first Lisa Frank logo. This one is considered rare. This is about as vintage as it would get. And that was from the year 1983 to 1987. It was basically just the Lisa Frank logo in red. I personally have never seen this on anything before that I have ever come across. It is not a Lisa Frank logo that I remember in my childhood. I was definitely more into Lisa Frank in the 90s area. So the next Lisa Frank logo is the one I'm the most familiar with, and this one is what's going to be on most of what people consider the vintage Lisa Frank. And you will see it is a rainbow logo, and both the L and the F in Lisa Frank are capital letters. So that's one thing you definitely want to look for when it comes to the vintage logo. So this one was used between 1987 and then the late 90s. So this is the one most people are familiar with when it comes to the Lisa Frank logo and, you know, it being the vintage logo. So the next one, you can tell a complete makeover change within the logo. This one was from the late 90s to around 2005. And this one, they just changed the coloring, more like bubble letters. Bubble letters were really popular then. And then the Lisa Frank was lowercase letters. Lowercase bubble letters is how I would describe it in an oval. So then from 2005 to 2011, you see the logo changed slightly again. Still lowercase bubble letters, but the coloring is definitely different, and there is also a background within that oval. So then comes 2011 to 2020, and again, just ever so different change. The Lisa Frank just turned plain white, still with the same lowercase bubble letters, but also a more like rainbow schemed background within the oval. Then 2015 to 2021, we had a little bit more of a change, still lowercase bubble letters, but we went back to the rainbow lettering. And you will see a little bit of a difference within that. It almost has kind of like a sheen to the lettering, if that makes sense. If you put it up against the one from 2005 to 2011, you'll see the difference in that. And then this one is the current logo, so this is from 2021 to present. Like I said, Lisa Frank still brings out items, and this one looks like the vintage logo. So the subtle difference in here is, again, that kind of like mirrored shimmeriness to it. It's not exactly like the vintage one. There is a subtle difference in it. So definitely, if you find a Lisa Frank item, make sure it's not something new and that you're saying that it's vintage, because there is definitely a difference in those logos. But I just kind of wanted to go over the logos really quick, just to give you guys an idea of how the logos have changed and what would be considered vintage Lisa Frank and not. So now, me personally, anytime I see Lisa Frank, I love Lisa Frank, so it's hard for me to not pick it up if I see it out in the wild. Obviously, the vintage items are going to sell for the most money, but that's, you know, changing as the years go by, because there are so many, you know, adult women who grew up with Lisa Frank who still really like it, still really enjoy it for that nostalgic value. So, you know, there's still money to be made in pretty much any Lisa Frank item. There's at least something there. But obviously, like I said, vintage is, you know, what you're gonna want to look for. So we're gonna go through a couple of things that have sold recently. You can go on eBay right now, look up Lisa Frank, go to solds, and you will see all of these items in the solds. So I just pulled them from there, and we're going to go through them. So the first thing that I am sharing is a plush backpack, and this is of the character Casey, the golden retriever. Lisa Frank had lots of amazing characters, and some characters are definitely worth more than others. And obviously the different items, some are worth more than others as well. But this one is pretty rare find here. This backpack, this sold for $525, so that's amazing. I personally had never seen this backpack, so I do believe them. In the title they wrote rare, and I do believe that as being rare. Next item, now these characters I would say are the most popular Lisa Frank characters, and those are the Zoomer and Zorbit aliens. Pretty much most of the vintage Lisa Frank stuff, if it has Zoomer and Zorbit on it, it sells for way more than some of the other characters. So yeah, if you are looking for vintage Lisa Frank, those are some characters that are just instant money. You're gonna know it's worth money. This one here is a cosmetic tote case that sold for $400. I didn't have a ton of Lisa Frank stuff when I was younger. I was mainly interested in like the stationery sets and the stickers and things like that. So that was the most of like what I personally had. And, you know, obviously I sold like all of it already. Next we have, this one was a Trapper Keeper featuring the Rainbow Reef seal. This sold for $300. Now, vintage Trapper Keepers in general typically can sell decently depending on the depiction on them, but obviously Lisa Frank Trapper Keepers are gonna be worth more because they are Lisa Frank, and you know, a lot of girls probably had this Trapper Keeper. I didn't have a Lisa Frank Trapper Keeper. Mine was just like a regular Trapper Keeper, but it had cats on it. I remember it. It was gray with cats. Next we have, this was a pair of lips. This is a Lisa Frank item. It was for a Lisa Frank lips handbag. That's over $275. I had never seen this one before. The lips were, you know, a depiction that she had done. I don't know. I'm assuming that it probably wasn't one of the better sellers. In my opinion, probably not. So to find stuff with those lips is probably like a harder to find thing. So I definitely think that one was probably a little more on the rare side. Next we have another This was a 3-ring binder, but again, this had Zoomer and Zorbit on it. Really beautiful iridescent binder that sold for $225.50. So that person was smart. They put it on auction, and you know, it went up there pretty well. So sometimes it's a good thing to do with your Lisa Frank items. If you're not entirely sure what to list them for, put them on auction, because then you have all of the collectors who are looking for them, willing and ready to bid, you know, what they'd want. Now there is and I will mention this now, there is a vintage Lisa Frank group on Facebook, and there are people on there who will give appraisals of vintage Lisa Frank items. If that is something, like if you come across something and you can't find it in solds and whatnot, there is a chance you could post it on there. I'll leave a link to that group down in my description if you're interested in joining it. Next item we have is for a unicorn suitcase. This sold for $199. So I think the unicorns were a pretty popular one. Now this next one, I had never seen this one before, and it does say that it's rare, and again, I believe that. It was for a Lisa Frank Peekaboo turtle case. So it was just a plastic case. It almost looked like a caboodle, but it was shaped like a turtle. Super cute. That did sell for $200. So these are just some amazing sales. So the next one we have is, this was for a brand new, old stock, still sealed, Lisa Frank Christmas wrapping paper. Never seen this before either. So this one was from 1989. So this one here you go. You see that on the top corner of that wrapping paper, because this is from the 80s. There's that red Lisa Frank logo. So that's pretty cool. I'm glad I noticed that in the picture, because I never had seen that logo on anything, but this is an 80s Lisa Frank piece. So that's really cool to see. This sold for $149.99. So this next item is actually a new Lisa Frank item. This is a Loungefly mini backpack. So Loungefly just came out with a line of Lisa Frank collaboration. This one was from one they did just this past year, and they also came out with some new ones again for this year. So this one was for a holographic iridescent mini backpack. This had pretty much all of the Lisa Frank characters on it. It just looked like all of the little stickers. It's amazing. That sold for $150. So there are still recent Lisa Frank items out there that are still you know, worth a pretty decent amount. And these Loungefly bags in general are usually expensive to begin with and hold a good resale value. So there's that. Same way with this next item, Crocs came out with a Lisa Frank collaboration. So this was a pair of Lisa Frank Crocs, and these came with Lisa Frank gibbets in them. So they still are making these. The last that I have known, I get advertisements for them all the time on Facebook. And they are still making these, but you know, they sell out of sizes fairly quickly, so people obviously go to eBay for them, and these sold for $150.50. Next item is a doll, and again, I had never seen this before. This is a Lisa Frank doll with a little figure of Casey, that golden retriever. It was brand new, still in the box. That sold for $138. So that's really cool. I loved that one. Next we have a hat. So this was just a denim style hat with the Lisa Frank whale on, and that sold for $126.50 just for the hat. So obviously that held a lot of nostalgic value to people, and there are a lot of people out there who just collect Lisa Frank. Anything Lisa Frank, they collect. Some people are a little more you know, picky with what they collect. Like maybe they're just interested in like the stationery, sticker, pencils, pens, that kind of thing, whereas, you know, the next person might be more interested in just collecting all of the characters, like a specific character and that kind of thing. This next item, oh my gosh, I love this. Had I ever found this out in the wild, I don't know if I'd be able to sell it because this is amazing. This is a Lisa Frank really large like bean bag plushie of Buzz the Bumblebee. That sold for $123.50. That is so stinking cute. The next one is also a plush stuffed animal. This one was a ballerina bunny and she sold for $120. So the next item, and this will be my last one for this video, this one is actually one of mine that sold. This was for a Lisa Frank Blossom Bear tin. So this was just an empty tin. This would have originally, like when you purchased it, had like the stationery pieces in and all of that stuff. But this was just for the empty tin, and that sold for $59.99. So that is pretty much everything that I have for this Lisa Frank Bolo 411 video. I like to keep these videos slightly on the shorter side, not too long. But obviously, if you would like to do more research on Lisa Frank items and what is selling, definitely just go on eBay and go to Solds and you'll be able to see the items that are selling and for how much. So definitely something to keep an eye out on when you are out sourcing and everything else. And just for fun, I'm going to do a little bit of show and tell. I have a pair of Lisa Frank Crocs. These are what they look like. Eric actually got these for me. I haven't worn them yet. I'm probably going to start wearing them this summer. So I was super excited for these. But look at how colorful they are. They're so cute. And I love Crocs. They're just so comfortable. I was the type of person that I was just like always like, ew, Crocs are so ugly. Like, how do people wear them? They're just horrendous. And then I got a pair and I was like, okay, I'm just going to wear them out to take the dog outside and everything like that. And then I started wearing them to the store. And then I was like, well, I'm just going to wear them like when I go to like the grocery store or something. Like, I don't really care. And then I just started wearing them everywhere. And I think that's what happens with everybody because they're really, really comfortable. And quite frankly, the louder and crazier they are, the funner they are. I also have the Lisa Frank mini holographic backpack. I did get this off of Loungefly. I fell in love with it and I usually take this with me when I go to the auction because I put all of my stuff in here that I need, including my notebook and you know, my camera and chapstick, a snack, all of that good stuff. And quite frankly, you can't have the backpack without the matching wallet. So I do have that as well. So I have a little bit of Lisa Frank stuff for myself, and I'll probably be hanging on to those things for a while at least. But oh wait, no, oh my gosh, right in front of me, just for fun, guys. Eric actually got this for me. Eric got this for me for Christmas. He had it in my stocking. This is a Lisa Frank nail polish. They sell this at Ulta. They have a couple of Lisa Frank items, including some hair accessories, some scrunchies, and some nail polish, and I think some nail wrap stickers. But that's everything for this video. I thought it would be fun to do a little show and tell at the end. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. If you've ever come across any Lisa Frank items and what they have sold for, or if it's something that you are, you know, trying to keep an eye out for. If you grew up with it, what your favorite Lisa Frank character is. Anything that you wanted to talk about in the comments, let me know. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.